Hello, my lovely people. It's your host, Smart, once again, and welcome back to Smart Sports Studio, where we don't just scream robbery and run away. We actually break down what happened, what was said, and what it means for the season. So, let's talk about the headline that shook Spanish football this week. Barcelona president Joan Laporta went on a serious rant about refereeing, and the timing is not accidental. This whole storm sits on one big flashpoint, a major decision in Barcelona's match that ended with a late Girona winner being allowed to stand, even after VAR got involved. And here's the part that poured petrol on the fire. The refereeing authorities later acknowledged there was a foul on Jules Koundé in the build-up that wasn't called. That's the kind of admission that makes fans feel like they weren't just unlucky, they were ignored. Laporta didn't just complain like a regular fan on a sofa. He spoke like a man who feels Barcelona are seeing a pattern. He used words along the lines of inexplicable trends, and that's significant. He's suggesting a broader issue. And this is where the football politics enters the chat. When presidents speak publicly about referees, it usually means they genuinely believe their club is being treated unfairly. Or they're trying to protect the team by shifting pressure. Or they're sending a message to the league, we are watching you. It can even be all three at once. But let's be fair, refereeing is the most difficult job in football. You're expected to be perfect in real time, while millions replay your mistakes in slow motion. The problem is not that referees make mistakes, the problem is when mistakes feel consistent. So let's discuss the real issue, credibility. VAR was created to reduce errors, but frustration has shifted from refs missed it to VAR saw it and still allowed it. That is the modern rage. Fans can't forgive that. Now, Laporta's rant became louder because of disciplinary consequences for the VAR official involved. Once you suspend an official, you've admitted the performance was not acceptable. In modern football, refereeing controversy affects tactics and psychology. When players feel they won't get calls, they stop trusting 50-50 moments and become hesitant. They start playing emotionally instead of structurally. A team playing emotionally loses its shape, and when your shape goes, your football goes. It infects performance. Now, there's always the pushback. Every club gets bad decisions. And yes, that's true. Every club has a folder of pain, but the question is about disproportionate trends. Now, the funniest part, football fans suddenly become lawyers and engineers. One day you're watching a match. The next day you're a legal expert explaining frame rates. Football is the only sport where everybody thinks they're the professional. And honestly, sometimes we are right. But this story matters for the La Liga title race. Barcelona are in a phase where results, pressure, and rebuilding are all happening at once. So when a big decision goes against them, it feels like sabotage. That's why it's explosive. So what happens next? Usually, we see clarifications or continued public push for accountability. The next few matches will be refereed under a microscope. And that can be bad. Too cautious means more stoppages, fewer advantages, and a game that loses flow. The league has to balance accountability with the product. Now, the big question for you, do you think Laporta is defending his club from genuine unfairness? Or is he using controversy to protect the project when results don't go their way? Drop your thoughts in the comments, like the video, subscribe, and stay locked in with Smart Sports Studio, because we don't just talk football, we decode it. Lovely people, we are still keeping an eye on the updates we reported earlier because it touches dignity, identity, and the responsibility of the sport. The headline, a racism allegation involving Vinicius Jr., has now been taken seriously enough that it drew a response at the level of Portugal's government. Here's what is clear. During a Champions League match in Lisbon, Vinicius reported alleged racist abuse. The referee activated protocol, and the match was halted for 11 minutes. That part is not speculation. That is the game process that occurred. After the match, UEFA moved to investigate, appointing an ethics and disciplinary inspector. Real Madrid stated they provided evidence to assist the investigation. The opposing player denied the allegation, and their club publicly backed their player. Let's slow down and make this educational. Football has always had rivalries. Rivalry is fine, rivalry is passion, but racism is not rivalry. Racism is a violation. And this is why the reaction matters so much. It's not just about one match, it's about the message football sends to the world. Why does it feel like Vinicius is always at the center? That question is part of the problem. It shifts focus from the act to the victim. The correct focus is not why him, it's why is it still happening? Vinicius has spoken openly about how abuse affects him emotionally and mentally. He's become one of the most visible faces in football's anti-racism fight. When you report racism during a match, you are doing two jobs at once, trying to perform in the biggest competition in Europe and trying to protect your humanity. That is exhausting. An investigation involves referee reports, statements, video review, and any audio-visual evidence. If proven, punishments can be heavy, from bans to sanctions. But here's the hard truth. Even the best punishment is still a reaction after damage is done. The real goal is prevention, and football is still playing catch-up. Football stadiums gather emotion, tribal identity, and sometimes people who hide behind crowds. That's why enforcement matters. Anonymous hate grows when it has no consequence. And this is where the government angle is powerful. It puts another layer of seriousness over the case. It makes it harder for the football world to treat it as just PR. The game can't keep doing statements only. Football has mastered the art of condemning, but it must also master catch it, punish it, prevent it. Fans also have a role. Every time a stadium protects offenders with silence, the silence becomes a shield. Vinicius is a footballer. He's also a young man trying to live his dream. No dream should come with abuse. What should be automatic punishment when racism is proven in a stadium? Lifetime bans, stadium closures, points deductions, criminal prosecution? Give me real answers. Real won the match 1-0. Vinicius scored, but the real test is accountability. Stay locked in with Smart Sports Studio, where football is loved but standards are demanded. Smart Sports Studio, where we don't panic over transfer talk. We break it down like adults, but with just enough spice to keep it fun. Today's headline: Mohamed Salah's preference between MLS and the Saudi Pro League has been revealed. Now, before we go any further, this is not Salah sitting in front of a microphone saying, "I choose this league." This is reporting about which destination appears more appealing for his next chapter. So let's unpack it properly. When we talk about Salah leaving Europe, we're talking about three big forces: money, legacy, and lifestyle. Let's look at the options. Saudi Pro League is obvious on the money side. If the offer is massive, it's massive. And the Saudi League has already proven it can attract global stars with top wages. MLS is different. It's not always about the highest paycheck. It's often about lifestyle, market, brand growth, and long-term commercial footprint. For a global superstar like Salah, that matters. When reports say MLS is more appealing, it usually means the player might prefer a different pace of life, a different media environment, and a different global branding opportunity. Let's make this educational. Why would a player consider MLS over Saudi if Saudi can pay more? Because not every decision is only salary. Some want a family-friendly move. In the modern era, brand can outlast football. Some want a market where they can build business partnerships. Salah prefers MLS means his priorities might lean toward legacy packaging. Now, the Saudi side is not just money either. Saudi is building a competitive identity and a culture that wants to grow. Being a pioneer has its own legacy value for stars. But here's the funniest part. Fans treat transfers like dating. One rumor drops and everybody becomes relationship experts. Meanwhile, the player is probably at home watching Netflix. Now let's talk football reasons. Salah's game is still built on speed and sharp finishing. That can translate anywhere. But leagues differ in tactical discipline and transitional space. MLS tends to be more open, which suits attackers who love space. Saudi has top stars, but a structure still evolving in layers. Where he goes shapes how he is remembered. Now, what's the Liverpool angle? Fans care about two things. Is he staying? If he leaves, what's the plan? Smart clubs don't wait for goodbyes to prepare replacements. The fact that these headlines keep trending tells us the football world is treating his future as a live situation. He should choose the move that protects his body and happiness. At the end of the day, fans will debate the choice, but the player has to live it. Now I want to ask you, my lovely people, if Salah leaves Liverpool, which move is smarter? MLS for lifestyle or Saudi for new era status? And as a Liverpool fan, would you rather get one more season or cash in and rebuild? Drop your thoughts, like, subscribe. Stay locked in with Smart Sports Studio. Because we don't just talk football, we decode it. Family, we're entering the most chaotic department in football, the rumor kitchen. Because transfers are the only place where a player can be close to signing 3 different clubs in one day, and fans still argue like it's official. So here's how we're doing it at Smart Sports Studio. We'll separate the rumor soup into 3 categories: credible links with reported interest, speculation and opinion-based suggestions, and pure gossip. Let's start with Alexis Mac Allister. There's talk that Manchester United are exploring midfield options, and Mac Allister's name has been floating in that conversation. Now here's the reality check. Mac Allister is under contract, he plays in a high-profile rivalry environment, and direct moves between these clubs are rare. So even if interest exists, the difficulty level is extremely high. Translation: this is the kind of rumor that makes headlines because it's dramatic. Not because it's easy. It's about the drama, not the simplicity. Now, Alessandro Bastoni. Bastoni is the type of defender every elite club would love because modern football demands center-backs who can defend big spaces and also pass through pressure. That's why his name pops up in recruitment conversations, especially when clubs want to upgrade the build from the back quality. But with players like Bastoni, the story is always the same. He's valuable, he's protected by his club, and any deal would be expensive and complex. So if you're hearing Bastoni rumors, don't think done deal. Think premium window shopping. Now, Endrick. Here's where it gets interesting, because Endrick's situation has been actively discussed. He's been on loan, he's getting minutes, and that always creates a narrative about what happens next. Some reports try to push the idea of Premier League moves, while others suggest his parent club's plan is for him to return and be part of the future. The key is what the parent club decides. In football, desire doesn't matter if the owner of the contract says no. Lots of clubs want talent, but the contract is king. Parent club control is everything here. Now Trent. Trent is always going to generate noise because he's a world-class right back with a unique skill set. He is basically a midfielder wearing a fullback jersey. The rumor machine never sleeps. The important thing with Trent rumors is to separate debate about his style and value versus actual concrete movement. A player can trend daily without being for sale. Trent is a Liverpool icon, and trending doesn't mean leaving. The rumors are just noise until something concrete happens. It's about his value, not his departure. Now the Ulysses, part of the gossip list. This is where football gossip can get messy because there are multiple players with similar names, and Ulysses can refer to different footballers. The Smart Sports Studio rule: confirm which Ulysses it is. Football gossip loves a name, and it loves confusion even more. Always identify the correct player before reacting. What does all this gossip tell us? It tells us the market is warming up. Clubs are positioning, agents are speaking, and media are connecting dots. But here's the educational truth. Transfer windows are not only about who is good, they're about who is available. Availability depends on contract length, club finances, player desire, manager plans, and timing. McAllister shows midfield upgrades, Bastoni shows elite defender targets, Endrick shows lone narratives, Trent shows trending noise, and Ulysses shows the need for correct identification. And that, my lovely people, is how you stay smart in a rumor world designed to make you emotional. We don't just repeat gossip at Smart Sports Studio, we filter it. Now tell me in the comments, which of these rumors do you think is most realistic? And which one is pure fantasy football? Like the video, subscribe, stay locked in. I'm Smart. See you in the next update. Stay smart, football family. Peace and love for the game. We keep it real. Smart Sports Studio, decoding the game.